Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of InsurePulse.
Great to have you with us again.
Mhm. Today, let's start with something interesting.
And what's that?
Okay, so imagine if a company lands in legal trouble.
hmm
Who do you think pays for it?
my guess is the company.
That's what most people would probably say, and honestly, what I guessed too. But under certain circumstances, that's not always true.
Really?
Yes, really. Sometimes the questions don't stop at the organization,
hmm
they reach the directors themselves.
I got it. You're talking about director liability.
I am, because it's becoming more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. Becoming a director is often seen as a milestone, but it comes with significant accountability.
It does, and always more than many people expect.
Of course, because regulations have evolved.
Yes, directors aren't only expected to make decisions, they are expected to demonstrate oversight.
Totally. Saying, I wasn't aware isn't always enough anymore.
Hmm,
One example that surprises people is something as ordinary as a check.
a check?
Yes. So, if a company check bounces, many assume it's purely a company issue.
Isn't it?
Not necessarily. So, under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act, a check bounce can trigger criminal proceedings. And if a director was responsible for the company's day to day affairs at the time,
Mhm.
personal liability can come into the picture too.
That can completely change how people think about operational decisions.
Right? And it's not just check related matters either.
Yes, it can be about GST, income tax defaults,
Yeah,
environmental compliance issues, or financial disclosures too.
true. Actually, this reminds me of a situation I recently came across.
What happened?
So, a manufacturing company had started running into financial trouble.
Okay.
The cash flows were tight,
Mm-hmm.
but the directors believed funding was just round the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So, they continued placing orders with suppliers on credit, hoping things would stabilize.
And then they didn't.
Nope. Unfortunately, the investment never arrived. The
Oh,
company entered insolvency.
that is unfortunate.
Well, it became more serious.
Mm-hmm.
The resolution professional initiated proceedings under Section 66 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code for wrongful trading.
Okay.
The insolvency professionals argued that the directors knew, or at least should have known, that the company couldn't realistically recover.
Oh no.
Yes, at that point, the corporate shield no longer protected them. The creditors then began pursuing the directors personally.
So the issue wasn't just insolvency.
It wasn't.
Oh.
Their responsibility had effectively shifted from protecting shareholders to protecting creditors. It was the decision taken after the warning signs had already appeared.
That's probably something many leaders don't think about. They assume acting in good faith is enough.
Yeah, but regulators often look at whether reasonable diligence was exercised.
Yes, Section 166 of the Companies Act 2013 expects directors to exercise reasonable diligence. So saying, I didn't know, isn't always considered a sufficient defense. I'm sure having directors and officers insurance would have helped them.
Yes, although most people hear the name without really knowing what it does. I used to think it simply paid legal expenses, but that's one part of it.
Yes, there's much more to it.
Definitely. It's easier to understand like this. Imagine Side A protects directors personally when the company cannot legally or financially indemnify them, such as during insolvency. Side B reimburses the company after it indemnifies its directors. And Side C generally protects the company itself for certain claims.
So they are all connected.
Yes, but they protect different interests. And in insolvency situations like the one we discussed, Side A becomes especially important because it helps protect the director's personal assets when the company can no longer step in.
Speaking of investigations, I heard about something interesting.
Really? Tell me.
So, a company started receiving regulatory notices after concerns were raised
Mhm.
about certain financial disclosures. Initially, everyone believed the organization would simply respond as a company. But within days, individual directors also received notices asking for explanations.
So things became personal.
They did. The investigation quickly shifted from the company to the people overseeing it. Before anyone had established liability, they already needed specialist lawyers, regulatory advisors, and extensive legal preparation. Even before the case reached a conclusion, defense costs had already begun to mount.
Well, most people rarely factor that in because
Hmm.
protection only matters in hindsight.
Yes.
That also raises another question.
What's that?
Before accepting a board position, what should professionals actually check?
Good question. So, directors and officers must check a few things before joining, like pending litigation, financial health, corporate governance,
Mhm.
regulatory history, and whether adequate directors and officers cover already exists.
Agreed. I'd say it's also important to understand the company's compliance culture, review recent board minutes if possible, and know exactly what responsibilities come with the role before signing off on any disclosures.
Yes, at the end of the day, joining a board isn't just about signing documents, it's also about asking questions.
So, if we had to leave our listeners with one takeaway today,
It would be this: the higher the responsibility, the greater the accountability.
mhm,
Understanding your legal responsibilities
yes.
early is just as important as understanding the business itself.
Well, preparation isn't about expecting something to go wrong.
Mhm.
It's about making sure you're ready if it does.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to InsurePulse.
If you'd like to learn more, visit www.mahindrainsurancebrokers.com.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.